Today, we're diving into Kill Blue Episode 6, an episode that finally begins the long-awaited futsal duel between Ogami and the terrifying unicorn, Tenma Tendo. What starts as a simple 3 versus 2 match quickly turns into an insane battle between overwhelming talent and pure experience. We finally see why Tendo is called a monster. We finally see Ogami enjoying competition for the first time in years. And somehow, in the middle of all this chaos, a pacifier becomes one of the most important things in the entire match. Let's begin. The episode opens immediately with the futsal match starting, 3 versus 2. The home ec team's only advantage is numbers. So their strategy is simple: keep passing to whoever is open. At first, it seems like things are going smoothly, but then Tendo instantly steals the ball from Ogami, and without hesitation, he fires a terrifying shot. The kick is so powerful that it smashes directly into the goalpost and literally knocks the entire goal over. Everyone is stunned. But the craziest part comes next. The rebounding ball flies back toward Ogami. Ogami immediately kicks it back toward Tendo at insane speed, but surprisingly, Tendo fails to control it cleanly. The ball goes out of bounds. Everyone watching gets excited. Some even say that was kinda crazy. But Ryohei instantly corrects them. Kinda crazy isn't enough. Because earlier during practice, Tendo was perfectly controlling impossible balls effortlessly. But this time, he failed, meaning Ogami's kick was genuinely powerful enough to disrupt even Tendo. The home ec club members instantly get hyped. For the first time, this doesn't look completely one-sided anymore. But then, Ogami notices something strange. Kohazame looks terrified, completely frozen, and then everyone realizes why. His pacifier is gone. Apparently, he lost it while trying to block Tendo's earlier shot. And without it, Kohazame completely falls apart mentally. The classmates finally learn the truth. Without his pacifier, he becomes an anxious wreck filled with stage fright. Norin and the others immediately rush to the classroom to grab a spare from his bag. And during this scene, we get a surprisingly emotional explanation about the pacifier. One of the girls had apparently asked Kohazame before why he always sucked on one. And Kohazame explained that it helps calm him down. But more importantly, it reminds him of his mother. Even though his memories are blurry, he still remembers the feeling of his mother smiling gently while giving him a pacifier as a child. That emotional comfort stayed with him forever, which honestly explains a lot about his personality. Then the episode cuts back to the match. And things are bad. Kohazame is getting absolutely destroyed. His face is covered in bruises after repeatedly blocking Tendo's killer shots. Everyone panics, so Norin desperately throws the pacifier toward him. At the exact same moment, Tendo launches another terrifying shot, but just in time, Kohazame catches the pacifier. Instantly, his entire personality changes, and he cleanly blocks the shot. Everyone is shocked. It's like he became a different human being in 1 second. And now, the real match finally begins. From here, both Ogami and Tendo start showing their insane skill levels. Even though Tendo is a genuine sports prodigy, Ogami refuses to give him easy opportunities. The back and forth becomes intense. And surprisingly, Ogami starts having fun. Actual fun. Something Norin notices immediately, because while fighting Tendo, Ogami genuinely looks excited. Then the episode gives us an important flashback conversation between Tendo and Ryohei. Ryohei asks if maybe deep down, Tendo is searching for a rival. After all, he was born with insane talent. He dominates every sport. He stands completely alone at the top. So maybe he wants someone who can finally stand beside him as an equal. But Tendo instantly rejects that idea. He says he doesn't care about rivals. What he truly loves is completely crushing people. If possible, he'd rather win 100-0 every time. Still, he admits something important. Being alone at the top does frustrate him. Not because he wants equals, but because he struggles to find opponents strong enough to survive his full power. That's why he constantly limits himself. Then Ryohei explains something incredibly important about Tendo. When Tendo doesn't go all out, it doesn't mean he's playing around. Instead, he intentionally restricts himself. He limits his movements, limits his techniques, limits the area he can use. Basically, he turns every game into a self-imposed challenge run to improve himself. And according to Ryohei, Tendo almost never removes those restraints completely. Back in the present, Tendo finally gets serious. Kito-senpai tries stealing the ball first, but instantly fails. Then Tendo completely dribbles past Kohazame and Ogami. His movements are terrifyingly fast. And finally, he scores. The crowd absolutely explodes. Even the people cheering for Ogami get hyped. Because that play looked unbelievable. A true superstar moment. And with that, the first half ends with Tendo's team leading. But then Ogami says something unexpected. He wants to face Tendo alone, because he's the one who accepted the challenge in the first place. Second half begins, and now it becomes a direct one-on-one battle between Ogami and Tendo. Tendo can barely shake him off anymore, which shocks everyone, because physically, there's no way Ogami should keep up with him. Then the episode reveals the truth. Ogami isn't overpowering Tendo physically. He's reading him, predicting his rhythm. Years of assassination work taught him how to understand movement timing perfectly. Whether it's sports or life and death combat, the fundamentals are the same. And while fighting, Ogami remembers something important about his childhood. Back when he was truly a kid, he hated losing. No matter how stupid the competition was, he always took it seriously. But after growing older, life slowly became dull. At work, only results mattered. Winning stopped being exciting. Everything became routine. But now, facing Tendo, he remembers what competition felt like, that burning feeling of, like hell, I'm gonna lose. And honestly, he loves it. He even thanks Tendo for making him feel this way again. And Tendo responds by calling him weirdly old man-ish. But he admits he's enjoying this too. The match becomes an insane back and forth. Neither side gives an inch. Then finally, the decisive clash happens. Ogami and Tendo collide directly in a kicking battle. Pure power versus pure will. Ogami screams that he's absolutely going to win because he still hasn't forgiven Tendo for insulting the home ec club. And then he says something incredibly important. When someone makes rice balls for you, you say thank you. That line directly hits Tendo. And finally, Ogami scores. Goal. The home ec club equalizes. Everyone explodes in celebration. Even Tendo's side is shocked because for the first time, someone actually beat Tendo head on. But then, something feels wrong. The atmosphere suddenly changes. And then Tendo quietly says, I give up. Everyone is stunned. The crowd can't believe it. Why would he surrender now? Then Tendo explains. During that final clash, he injured himself. And if he pushes harder, it could affect the sports career he's betting his future on. He says he takes sports incredibly seriously, and while he respects this match, he refuses to risk his future for it. So he forfeits. The crowd immediately boos him, but Tendo accepts it calmly. Then comes a funny moment. He casually asks Ryohei if he can lean on him because he can barely walk. Ryohei instantly complains because Tendo is gigantic and heavy. Then comes one of the best scenes in the episode. Chisato approaches injured Tendo, even after all his rude comments. Even after insulting the club, she still helps him. She tapes his injured foot carefully. And during this scene, she says something beautiful. Yes, his comments annoyed her. A lot. But that's separate from helping someone who's injured. Because when somebody is in trouble, the home ec club helps them. That's simply the kind of club they are. Meanwhile, others even bring crutches for him. And finally, Tendo sincerely apologizes to everyone. Not because he lost, but because he genuinely means it now. He thanks them for the rice balls too. And honestly, for better or worse, Tendo is painfully honest. Then the episode shifts back to school. Ogami arrives carrying tons of sports equipment and recruitment gifts from desperate sports clubs trying to recruit him. Because after that match, everyone suddenly wants him. But before things calm down, Tendo suddenly appears again. And then chaos explodes instantly. Because out of nowhere, Tendo directly confesses to Chisato, completely seriously, saying he's fallen for her. Chisato becomes unbelievably awkward. And then her little brother Ryo completely loses his mind. He immediately enters full protective brother mode and tries to attack Tendo. Ogami quickly drags Tendo outside before things become even worse. Outside, Tendo and Ogami finally have an important private conversation. A conversation secretly overheard by Norin. Tendo tells Ogami something important. Someone like him can never truly stay hidden forever. He already stands out too much, and Tendo himself knows that Ogami isn't normal. An amateur doesn't beat him head-on through luck alone. But Ogami still says something meaningful. Even if his secret eventually gets exposed, he treasures this peaceful school life more than anything. It's irreplaceable, so he wants to protect it for as long as possible. And surprisingly, Tendo actually helps him. Later, sports news suddenly starts reporting that Tendo had been seriously injured before the match, meaning the reason Ogami won was supposedly because Tendo wasn't in peak condition. That story spreads everywhere, and because of that, the attention around Ogami slowly dies down. The sports clubs stop obsessing over him, and his peaceful school life finally returns. Then the episode ends with one last funny moment. All the sports equipment and recruitment items that clubs gave Ogami earlier start getting taken back one by one, because now everyone believes Tendo's excuse. And honestly, Ogami couldn't be happier. And that was Kill Blue Episode 6. An episode filled with insane competition, emotional character moments, and one of the best rival dynamics in the series so far. Ogami rediscovered his love for competition. Tendo finally learned respect. And somehow, a futsal match ended up changing everybody involved. This is A for Anime, signing off.